All right, so today I wanted to talk to you guys about something real quick. I wanted to go over how I went about this painting. Now, the reason why I even want to really get into this is because I'm not gonna lie, this is like the first time I really tried to tackle braids, and I'm not gonna lie, it was a struggle. It was definitely a struggle for sure. Um, Definitely was a learning curve when it came to trying to utilize the different techniques and just trying to make the individual braids themselves and like how much detail do I want to put into it. And yeah, there's quite a few factors to take into account here. But yeah, so this video today is just going to be basically me going over this painting and what I've learned from my recent paintings too as well, if you follow me on Instagram. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. So to start off, again, for my most recent paintings so far, they've kind of had this similar color palette, right? It's a lot of orange and yellow tones into this. It's because recently I really liked the golden hour look, the golden hour lighting, and is I'm not gonna lie, I've been thinking about like painting something like that for a while, but I wanted to refine some of my skills first before jumping and tackling a whole painting with that new color palette. But yeah, golden hour lighting is something I wanted to get into, and I'll just show you guys this one real quick. But this painting here is actually the first time where I implemented that idea, and I think it turned out pretty good too. But not only was I trying to incorporate the golden hour lighting, I was also trying to really hone in and focus on how I wanted my portrait to look. I wanted it to be more stylized because I felt like before I was leaning too close to realistic. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's still realistic aspects of it, but I wanted to make it even more stylized. Just testing out different things, tweaking proportions here and there, just trying to figure out what I personally like and what I prefer the most. And this was the first attempt doing that, and I think like I said, I think it turned out all right. For the second attempt, believe I showed you guys this in a previous video, but again, you could tell right off the bat that still has kind of that same color palette there, the very oranges, some yellows in there too. But yeah, this was my second attempt at incorporating the golden hour lighting. I felt a little bit more confident in this one going into it, just because I had that practice beforehand with the previous painting, and it was kind of, I went about it kind of the same way, just with a little bit more confidence. Like I said, incorporating the golden hour lighting and then adding in that more stylized look as well. So you could definitely start to see the similarities between the two pieces. If you just compare the two side by side, I think you can tell it's more or less by the same person, besides like a few small differences in between there. But let's go over ahead and go into this new painting that I wanted to talk about here. So this is my third golden hour piece, and I'm gonna say it. I feel like this one, out of all the other ones, I feel like I did the best with this one, but it could simply just be because I was again, I had that confidence. So it's like, been there, done that. All right, it's just another painting. So like, I really like went in, and I think I may have finished this initially the quickest. I have to check the time again on that actually. Let me see. You know what? We're not gonna talk about the time. We're not gonna talk about the time. It felt quicker though. It felt quicker. Right. That's what matters here. It felt quicker. But yeah, I just had a lot more confidence going into this painting, especially for funny enough. I don't know if you guys could actually tell in the other paintings, but I struggle a lot with noses. I don't know why. Noses have always just been like that one part on the face where it's just like I can't get right. I don't know why. Or like I feel like I can't get right. Like, you know, it turns out okay, but it's like I'm never like fully satisfied with it after I'm done, because it's just like, I don't know, the nose, it just has like a lot of like curves, and then, you know, if you make it you can either make the nose too long, too short, or like too wide or too narrow, and then it changes up the whole aspect of the face. So yeah, I take noses like very seriously, but for some reason with this one it didn't take as long. I just think it's just because I've done it before, and obviously like I've done like a lot of prior paintings to this. It's just that now I'm again kind of forming more into my own style, especially with, again, this color palette as well, specifically the golden hour scenario that I've been doing. But I had a lot of fun with this one. It's just the main thing that was a challenge for me was the braids. Again, I've never I've never drawn braids before, and I quickly realized why I didn't, because it was a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you, it definitely took the longest time for the hair on this one compared to the other paintings. I spent a good portion of the overall drawing just basically just trying to lay down the hair and like trying to figure out, okay, like, yeah, like what details do I need to keep, what can I, you know, get away with leaving out. But yeah, it was definitely definitely took a lot of time to get done. And it was like the coloring too, it's like I didn't really know how to go about the coloring, because in the reference that I had, there was a lot of like small individual highlights in like each braided hair strand, and I think for the most part I put a lot of them in. I probably didn't have to, but I felt like that little small highlight that each braided hair strand had, I felt like that's what made the braids look like, you know, like actual individual braids. So I felt like I had to keep those in there, and I think that's what kind of took so long just to get the braids completed. I was trying to figure out like, how do I make these braids actually look like braids, and a big part of that was the actual highlight. But I didn't figure that out until like later, after I got down the base colors, and then added in like some shadows, and then a little bit of line work too. You could kind of see the scratchy line art that I have there, which I think, again, it definitely makes a difference. But yeah, there's also a technique that I haven't used before. I've seen it done before, I just haven't used this before, but it is blurring out some of the hair strands. So blurring out basically the parts that are the furthest away from you. Typically I don't do that, but just this, again, it's just like a stylistic choice, or like perspective, you know, whatever you want to do. But there's a really good artist that I follow. His name is Tsuka Draws. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. But what he normally does for his portrait paintings is he has a very unique hairstyle that he does with his hair. He has a very unique stylistic choice when it comes to him painting down the hair. Because what he likes to do is he likes to almost make it in like a, I don't know, like the word that I could describe his hair is just like, it's so explosive, if that makes sense. I'll show you guys some of his paintings, but it's just like, it's very unique, and it works very well. Like I'm not gonna lie to you, I haven't really seen this style before when it comes to making hair, but he does it so well. And one of the techniques that I remember him doing was he would blur out some of the hair on like the edges and stuff, and that just kind of made everything come together. And I wanted to kind of test that out. Granted, I wasn't gonna completely try to take like every single technique he was using, because I still want to have my own style attached to it. But the blurring out of some of the hair, I did want to try that out to see like if it made a difference or not in my painting, and I chose to do that with this one here. And I think that honestly, yeah, it does make a bit of a difference. It kind of allows your eyes to put more focus onto the face, which I do like that happens. And I'm probably gonna utilize that technique again for future paintings, but I definitely wanted to point that out first. Yeah, the technique of like blurring out some of the hair, that technique, I originally got the idea from Suka Draws, so shout out to him. That was a great technique, honestly. But now getting more into how I went about going with the hair here. So obviously I lay down a base color for the hair first before I even tackle anything, right? I tried to make it into big chunks of hair, painting everything in one color first. And I usually do that on a separate layer versus like the rest of the face, right? Just because it makes it easier for me to work with. Now, as far as for how I actually went about making the braids look like braids, again, to start off with, I had the base color for the hair, and then went ahead and threw in a lighter color for the hair strands, because in the reference I had, the person in the picture, she had like blonde highlights. So basically I just had my base color down, and then after the base color I went in with those blonde highlights, which I think I just used like an orangish yellowish color for that. So two simple layers first. And then as far as for the details on the hair, I went ahead and started painting in the sections, I guess you could say. I started painting the sections of the braids, just to kind of get an idea of like where I needed to focus on. And so yeah, so I got a darker color. I think I just used the base color for this, actually, for the hair strands. I laid down little blotches of color for the braids, and then I went in with a highlight color to put down the highlights. And I think you could kind of see them coming together here. As far as for the details, that was just with a line art brush, and for that one I just kind of made a zigzag motion on some hair strands going down, as you can see here, making some lines thicker, some lines darker than others. There's obviously some parts on here to where I didn't put a whole lot of detail in, just because I know like no one's gonna pay attention to that. I wasn't even really paying attention to that anyways either. You can see down here too as well, I just kind of put in blotches of color. There's nothing really defined under there, but you could still kind of your mind could still comprehend that it's clumps of hair strands and stuff like that. But yeah, making everything come together afterwards, you can kind of see how it looks. And yeah, I just wanted to quickly go over how I went about my recent paintings. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. If you liked the video, go ahead and share it. Other than that, I will see you on the next one.